Hey everybody. Sorry, I have this thing where if I say something that kind of bothers me from my previous stream or content, I have this weird feeling where I don't want it to be the last thing I said was something negative. Even if it's like, yeah, maybe in hindsight it's not like super crazy bad, but it does feel negative that I was talking about negative things. And I don't know, you're never gonna see me pull out the ukulele. I'm sorry, but that's not me. I don't do that kind of apology. If I apologize for something, it's only if it's something that I'm genuinely sorry for. And even then, it's not to try to appease people, it's because I want to make a change within myself. Most things in life, I feel like you truly don't need to apologize for. I think, like most things that we do, we apologize because we're worried about what people will think about us. And we're worried about losing social standing. But I don't really have any social standing, so I don't know why I constantly feel like I'm getting canceled. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think I'm just, in the end of the day, the reason why I even have any of these kind of negative comments that I say is because I'm just really terrified about like what's going on in the situation that I'm facing. It's like I don't know how I'm going to get ahead in life. I know that I am trying really hard to take care of what needs to be taken care of. I know that I'm reaching out to people that can help me. And things are happening slower than I would like, but they're still happening. Like, a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are much worse off than me, and I should be thankful. But there goes the should again, right? Like, there's always this idea of like what I should do versus like what I like am doing, or like what I want to do, what I truly want to do that makes me happy, and that we're or I guess like it's synonymous, but like what is the thing that is in my best interest? I feel like I have a really tough time knowing, especially socially, what is in my best interest. Like, it's really hard for me. Like, it's hard for me to figure out like if I say or do something, if it's good or bad for me. I don't know, like today, in this day and age, it's extremely impossible to truly be canceled. Like, you have to go above and beyond. I mean, we don't even want to get into politics here, but there's people who are like, absolute celebrity status and have like sycophants everywhere who are like the worst people imaginable on the planet. So I don't know why I keep thinking that I am somehow special in being canceled. Like, I don't know like why I think that I'm being canceled. Maybe it's just because I don't really have any success yet. I don't know. It's hard to come up with a path forward. Like, I know that just like doing my best at this time to just keep plowing forward, to keep showing up and doing whatever I can. Even if it's just like, doing quick updates like these, or even if it's like, just doing a lot of planning and waiting and just like taking care of the things that need to be taken care of that have nothing to do with like content creation or anything. Like the fact that I had a huge workout yesterday. Like, that's a big deal. Like, what can I do today? I need to rest and I need to read a book. I need to finish this library book. Like, that's a step. And I can probably get some light exercise today too. Um, I wrote in my journal this morning. That's a step forward. I did an 2-hour live stream earlier for, on vertical format. That's a step forward. Even though I kept repeating myself and saying really negative things that honestly, it's not that I don't believe in what I'm saying. It's just that, like, why am I saying things? Like, what purpose does it serve? Like, why am I saying things that only serve to further separate me from my community? I don't know why I do these kind of things. Maybe it's just because I want to live authentically. And I think there's something to be said about belonging through being authentic. That being in a community doesn't mean conformity. It doesn't mean like saying and doing things just so people, won't be mad at you. I think that's like the opposite of being in a community. I think truly being in a community means that you have a unique, authentic voice. That, I'm not the only one who shares the same opinions I have. It doesn't mean that, opinions are just opinions. Everyone has them. They're like assholes and they all stink. So an opinion can be changed. It's not like set in stone. And it's like, I don't necessarily, I think it's a starting point. Like if people share the same opinions you have, it's kind of like it's like an olive branch. Like, this is a person who shares one of my opinions. Sometimes that can mean that, like, it's a really strong connection, but I actually feel like if you're basing your entire relationship on whether or not someone agrees with you, well, what if their opinion changes? Like, there's more to it than that. I think it's a good starting point. But I think that, like, hey, High Life. I think it's a good starting point. But, oh, don't be sorry. No, I'm sorry. I feel like I was being really negative. I think it's a good starting point when like people share your opinions, but I feel like I remember this like growing up, like whenever you meet people and it's like you're basically just sharing that with them, like all the movies that you've watched or all the video games you've played. When I did this growing up, like whenever I met new people, I would be like, I played Final Fantasy VII. Did you play that? And it's like you need to like get them to tell you what video games they played. So it's like you're basically having like a contest of like who's played what video games, and like it's like this weird social dance. I think it's like it's very shallow, because I think it's a good starting point. That if you have the same kind of interest as somebody, that's a great starting point. But I think it's where you go from there that matters. You got yourself a new Super Mario Nintendo? Nintendo! Yeah, I don't really know like what I'm up to half the time. I'm kind of just existing right now, and I guess that's okay. Maybe I'm just really overthinking things. One of my members of chat was telling me I'm overthinking things, and like I was thinking about that last night. Like I was really thinking about that last night, like saying like what did that chatter possibly mean by that? Like like I'm serious though. I actually was thinking about it. Like, are they talking about like I start to internalize things and like redirect comments towards other things that obviously that commenter couldn't possibly know about. But I do internalize things, not in a way that like I think it sounds like really like terrifying, but like I think I internalize things. You're good, High Life. Just chill a little bit. Basically the TLDR for why I timed you out was most of the time you're okay, and like you are a little spammy, but that's just your unique personality. It's when you talk about like taking sex pills and doing sexual things like that. This isn't a campsite, like this isn't Chatterbait, okay? Like this is not the place for that. Um, like, don't talk about, like, having, like, sexual things. Like, it's one thing to talk about, like, more broader topics. But, like, when it comes to, like, the actual, sex, like, the explicit descriptions, that's too pornographic. Oh, you're smoking weed? Smoke weed every day, every day, every day. Um, I think, like, I was really thinking about what that chatter was saying about, like, you're overthinking it, and I started internalizing it. And it's like, well, this chatter couldn't possibly know, like, all the things that made me think about. But it's just like, there's certain things, like, I think whenever I try to make content, like, I'm really trying too hard. Like, I really just need to, like, like, there's content on YouTube that is getting, like, millions of views that are, like, literally, like, the least, like, intellectual things you could possibly imagine. I just need to kind of just capture things that are cool. And, like, experiment. Spearmint. Okay, I need a spearmint. I need a spearmint. I brushed my teeth earlier. So the optimal order to brushing your teeth. So after eating, you should chew gum, sugar-free gum. I had some Polar Ice extra. To get all the, I had some, white cheddar crackers. And that collects on your teeth. And so I before you brush your teeth, you need to get all the debris away with chewing gum. And also, it balances the acid, like the pH levels. So, like, the saliva will balance out the pH levels, because you don't want to brush your teeth when it's really acidic, because it'll wear down your enamel. So the optimal flow is to chew gum for like 5 to 20 minutes, whatever. 20 minutes optimally, but after a meal. And then you want to actually do the tongue scraping. See, I was doing the tongue scraping at the end. But actually, I did some research. It's better to tongue scrape before you do anything else, because it gets bacteria off your tongue that might get introduced through brushing or flossing. Then you do flossing, and then I add in water flossing. So you floss and then you water floss. Or you could water floss and then floss. But I like water flossing because then it like, flossing gets all the plaque that, like, is up against the enamel. And then you use the water floss to irrigate it all out. And plus, it gets spots that you can't get with regular floss. And then I brush my teeth. So exciting. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of the time I'm just really overthinking things. Like, I'm a really attractive woman. I think so. And, like, people gravitate towards my energy. And I think I just need to really find, like, what works. And there's things that work that I just don't really feel the mental energy to do right now. That could be, making me a lot of money. There's also certain things that's like, a lot of doors are kind of closed for me right now, because I just don't have the social skills right now to, like, really go out and, like, advocate for myself. I'm trying to get these resources together so that I could have more advocacy, so that I could have more employment opportunities. But I want to get myself out there and, like, audition for some parts. Like, I want to go on the casting couch. I just don't know how to make that happen. Nobody tells you how to do it. Like, I just don't know how to make it into a reality. And it's really terrifying me because I feel completely stuck. Like, my life feels like it's not going anywhere. I know that's not true. And I don't know, maybe it was kind of what I was saying earlier. I just need to learn how to just kind of put things to the side for now and just kind of focus on the, like, the daily things that matter, like brushing my teeth. That was a big deal. You know, eventually I need to get my teeth worked on. They're really crooked. Like they're still strong, even after like years of neglect. But I got my wisdom teeth removed, and it made things a lot easier. When I got my wisdom teeth removed. It's funny, I spent all those years getting transgender surgeries, and yet I couldn't figure out how to get my wisdom teeth removed because the dentist was harder to work with to get scheduled than vaginoplasty. I don't know how. Oh, big hug. Big hug, high life. Oh. Give you a big hug. Oh, that was a little awkward. I don't know what it is, like, with, like, I keep saying that, and I know what it is. It's autism. But it's just like there's this crazy thing in my brain that can do extremely difficult things, but can't do, like, really normal, everyday things very, like, effectively. Like, brushing my teeth is, like, the hardest thing I can possibly do, and yet I got myself to get through vaginoplasty. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, it's just wild. I can do, like, these insane things, but I can't seem to do, like, normal everyday things on a consistent basis, like brush my teeth every day. There's times that I forget to brush my teeth. I just neglect brushing my teeth. That's terrible. Terrifying. I said terrible. I said terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. I don't know. I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'm going to be okay. Just things are kind of uncertain right now. Like, I don't know where my life is heading. I don't know how to make my life work. Like, I don't know if I'm ever am I gonna get blacklisted from every single circle in the entertainment industry? Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was basically blacklisted from Hollywood. He was considered uninsurable, and he became motherfucking Iron Man. Okay, so, like, and I haven't done anything wrong. Like, just because I'm, like, on social media, like, everybody is. Like, I don't know what in my mind is keep thinking that, like, I'm somehow blacklisted. I think it's just because it's so easy to justify those feelings when it's like you don't really see, like, success happening, and it's so easy to, like, reach for, like, alternative explanations. I don't know why people haven't been helping me. Like, I've asked, like, North Bay Regional Center to give me coaching, which is what they're supposed to do, and it's been a whole year, and I feel like nothing is ever gonna happen. I am a movie star. Maybe not yet. My time is not yet. Like, it's just not my time yet. Especially with, like, increasingly there's becoming, like, more need for, like, diverse representation in media, and, like, trans autistic people, like, well, first of all, I'm an entertainer. I'm an actor. I can put aside, I don't have to play roles that are literally my demographic. I don't have to play autistic people. I don't have to play trans people. I could play cis women. Like, I could play trans women. I could play autistic women. Like, that's what an actor does. And also, if somebody is better for the part, I don't care if they're trans or not. If it's a part that's like a trans, like a character that's trans, obviously it'd be better if like I got the part. But if somebody is genuinely good at their craft, I actually like, isn't that what acting is all about? Like, you have people who aren't autistic who play as autistic people. Like, The Good Doctor. That actor did really well at portraying an autistic doctor. Like, that was a really good performance. Like, that's what an actor does. However, there's just so few trans people out there that I feel like it's kind of a punch in the face when you're not casting trans people for trans roles, but that's a little bit of a different issue. See, I think it's okay for cis people to play trans people if they're better for the job. Because, acting is really difficult. But I also think that, like, that should work both ways. Like, I think trans people should then be allowed to play cisgender roles because there's going to be a lot more cisgender characters than trans characters. That's just the reality of life. So if you're only going to cast trans people as trans roles, that's really limiting people's careers. Like, why not cast trans people as cisgender roles? Within reason. If they match I think I could pull off a cisgender woman character. I'm pretty damn sure with the right coaching and with the right with the right team. I feel like anything's possible with enough work. Drinking sun-kissed orange. I just imagine like the meme of like, I don't know why you said sun-kissed, but this is like Lipton, like with Kermit the Frog drinking the Lipton iced tea. Or I guess it's just Lipton tea. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to think about all that stuff because it's all like, it's incorporeal. Like, it's things that don't exist. It's just like, it's shouting into the void. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I think what really matters is like the actual steps in my life that can happen. And I don't know what's possible yet. I haven't even given myself the opportunity. I haven't auditioned for anything. I haven't worked with any coaches. I took an acting class, but that was only one semester. I need more coaching. I need more opportunities. And I need to see where I can shine. And I don't, why not Hollywood? Right? Like, just because I have kind of a little bit of a, messed up past, like on social media. I have a little bit of a messy background on social media, but like that shouldn't be a career ender. Like, come on, like there's people who do way worse. And I think like people genuinely only really care about who you are now. They want to see who you are moving forward. They don't, I think most people don't particularly care. You're already forgotten. Like anybody who comes into the stream, they're going to, check in and they might be like nodding their head with me right now. They're being like, she's like saying some real stuff. And then they're going to move on. And that's the nature of life. Okay, that's normal. I don't take it personally. But also it's a double-edged, it's like, it works in other ways too. Like not just like, it can kind of feel like people don't care about you, but also it means that like people don't particularly care about like who you used to be. And I think that's like really important to remember, because it's like when I'm given opportunities, people really like who I am, like in the present. When I'm given like coaching, when I'm giving opportunities, especially to like prove myself. And also if I do something wrong, I do whatever is possible to change, to make things better. And I think it's always important to remember that. And that in reality, people are not even going to see you as the same person as you were in the past, even if it was only like a week ago. Okay, like the internet has such a short-term memory, okay? But even then, it's not necessarily that they like because they forget you. It's because I think that it's because they've moved on. Because that's the nature of existence. Why would I care who somebody is like years ago when this person is sitting here right here and I'm looking at the person in front of me? I'm like, hey, this person may have had a fucked up past, may have said some fucked up things, but hey, like this person is now like doing really well and like doing better. I feel like I can trust this person, like I can work with this person. This person is really talented at what they do. Like, that's what people see. That's the reality. And most likely they're not even going to know who I am when they meet me. So it's like, why would they care about who I was if they don't even know who I am now? Like, and I don't know. I think I just get really stuck in that, and it's easy to fixate on all that stuff because I don't really see any forward momentum with my life right now, with my professional life. But that'll change. Like it's only stuck until it's not. Right? Like I think I'm getting so stuck in like how things look, like in the short term, like present. And I'm not looking at the big picture. What kind of music do I listen to? Lately, I've been listening to just silence. Like, I'll just listen to the sound of the fan. I just kind of, like, exist in the moment. But I do listen to a lot of video game music remixes, like from OC Remix. I listen to rainwave.cc/OC Remix, which is, and, you know, they also listen to official video game soundtracks. I like video game music because it's nostalgic. It brings back a lot of memories of video games, which video games are pretty much probably the only real positive memories I have of childhood. That's why I kind of, you know, and that's why video games have always had such a close part of me, like, have always been so close to me. Because video games were one of the, like, neutral things in my life, and when your life is fucked up, neutrality is, like, really positive. Like, I had some positive memories. I had some negative memories with video games, too. But I had a lot of good memories with video games because most of my life was really fucked up. And I had a really chaotic home life. Chrono Trigger, oh my god. Yeah, I do like lo-fi. Yeah, lo-fi has, like, a weird mix of nostalgia and, like, emotion, especially vocal lo-fi. It makes me want to cry. But, like, not in a way that's, like sad, but like it's like kind of depressing but also kind of not. Like lo-fi has like a really like interesting like psychological impact. Like I'll be listening to lo-fi and it's just like it reminds me of like it feels like I'm in like purgatory or something, like I died and like I'm in the afterlife or something like that. Yeah, focus on the now, immortal. That's really important. It's been hard to focus on the here and now a lot because I really don't have too many things moving forward. I'm in a like wait list period for things that I'm autistic, and so I have a developmental disorder and I'm receiving specialized services, but those services are taking forever. It's been a year since I've been approved for services, but they take forever. They have like 80 other, my case manager has like 80 other clients, and I feel like I'm being left behind. Game mixes, yeah, I like OC Remix. Yeah, I need to make more dancing videos, High Life. Don't worry, I'll get back to that. I don't know what's up with me. I have a really hard time with continuity. With consistency. But at the very least, I feel like I'm having a success if I do some level of journaling, even if it's just on my laptop, like typing. But if I, but also like doing like these live streams is like a version of journaling. Oh, I feel that, player too. I don't know. I wasn't diagnosed as a child. I was diagnosed when I started like going towards surgeries and stuff for transgender surgeries. So I was unfortunately not diagnosed until I was 31. And everything made so much more sense. And I feel that much more injustice about like how I was treated by the school system. They were like put me in closets basically and just like tower over me and wave their finger at me and lecture me and like basically shame me for who I was, because I was really academically like intellectual. I was able to like read and write from like the age of 4. And like I did one of those things where they test your intelligence. They like had me look at like 2 pictures and they say, tell me how many of these are different. And like they were trying to see like quote unquote what was wrong with me, because that's the way that things were in the 90s. Play Korn. I actually haven't listened to too much of Korn. Yeah, that's a name of a band I haven't heard in a long time. Yeah, that's definitely 90s. I'm glad he's going to therapy. Yeah, I'm glad that your oldest has the support. Yeah, unfortunately, the school system is just fucked up. And I don't even want to get into the politics of it, but like, it's so much politics. Oh, 9 Inch Nails, it's another one. There's a lot of music I haven't really... See, I have a hard time with like connecting music to like names. I like listen to music and I kind of just listen to the actual music and like the lyrics. I'm very musically attuned. From a very early age, I gravitated towards like I was in choir and then I was in band, and I did really well with that. And this was like all signs of like, see, because I didn't act a specific way, they didn't diagnose me, because I was like, they just thought I was just a bad kid. They thought that I was just misbehaving, that I was just having a brat. They just kept assuming that I was like, just trying to get attention. Because they thought autism was like nonverbal or like very extremely sensory, issues. I have issues with bigger picture problems. Like I get meltdowns when it comes to like my survival, like my actual like basic survival. I'll get a meltdown and it's not necessarily about survival. When it's like immediate survival, I'm good, because then there's things I can be proactive about. When I am backed into a corner and nothing I do will make a difference, that's when I melt down. It's not about how difficult the situation is. I can be in extreme situations. I could be like in the middle of nowhere with barely anything to keep me alive, but I know that if I work hard, I will make it through. Because I know how to deal with things that I can be active with. That I can take. If I know that my action will lead to success, I'm good. I don't care how difficult it is. I got my A1C, because I'm diabetic, from 7.2 to 6.7 in a single month in order to get vaginoplasty, because it was removed from the schedule and I was freaking out. But instead of like letting that destroy me, I was like, okay, this requires very deliberate action. What are the actions I can do? And I started problem solving. I'm really good at that. But when you get into a situation where no matter how hard you try to plan, no matter how many ideas you come up with, no matter how many things you try, nothing moves you forward, nothing makes you enough money to move out of the trailer park, nothing gets you like your career moving forward. Like when everything you do is just keeping you still and nothing you try will ever possibly move you forward, I start to freak out. especially when things that I thought were like the few things that I have, when those things are threatened, I freak out. And I do so, I'm really strong because I was subjected to a lot of difficult, traumatizing situations. I've been traumatized pretty harshly for an autistic person. And that's how I overcame a lot of the, quote unquote, smaller stuff. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm not saying that everybody should go through that. But I'm just saying that that's why I don't throw a temper tantrum or a meltdown just because, they're out of vanilla ice cream at the store or something like that, which would probably never happen. But you know what I'm talking about? Like, there's autistic people that, they want cookies, but then they go to the store and the cookies aren't there, and then they'll have a meltdown. I'm not saying that that's childish. I'm just saying I've kind of evolved beyond that. Those kind of things don't bother me anymore. They did when I was a kid, but I got tormented by adults. I got traumatized. So that's the impact, is like I adapted, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing. I'm suffering the mental consequences. It took a psychological toll on me to go through so much traumatizing experiences with adults gaslighting you, with adults, refusing to give you any kind of resources. I appreciate you, High Life. I also don't like feeling like I'm complaining. Like I said, I really like to be proactive. I like to take action. And to be fair to myself, like, I am taking significantly more action than I'm giving myself credit for. Like, most people in my situation would not be doing half as much. Like, there's people who are part of the North Bay Regional Center who are probably just playing video games and just waiting for services to help them. And honestly, I could be doing that too. There'd be nothing wrong with that. But I don't find any fulfillment in that. And that's the difference, is like, I don't judge people for doing what makes them happy, but that doesn't make me happy. I can't just sit around playing video games. I got to do something to move my career forward. I got to move my life forward. I got to get my health better. I got to do a workout, but I also have to rest. Yesterday I had a huge workout. Today I am most likely not going to be able to do any significant exercise. I did squats, and I kind of move around and stretch. That's enough. That's actually better than enough, because when you exercise, you need to also recover, or you're just going to injure yourself. Aw, big hugs, big hugs, big hugs. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of yapping. I really enjoy the fact that I can just go live on YouTube like this and have some people to talk to. That also helps. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Player 2. Yeah, that's a lot of trauma. But I can't say that, the specific trauma is like going to get better or whatever. But what I can say is that every single time we face life trauma, we find a way to become stronger. All of us, not just autistic people, but it's much more profound for us on the spectrum. But that also means it's much more painful, but it's also that much more, we bounce back up higher too. It's a double-edged sword, being autistic. It can be a huge strength. It's almost like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Like the Saiyans, there's this is a little spoiler, but not really. When Saiyans reach, to the brink of death, when they recover, they become twice as strong. Like physically, mentally, spiritually. It's kind of a metaphor, for all of us. When you push yourself past the brink you bounce back that much higher. And autistic people, because we feel things so much more intensely, we then heal that much more intensely. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. And sometimes it can be really painful, and sometimes it really just hurts. Sometimes it really makes our lives worse. But I have to keep holding out hope that one day I'm going to get my shot. One day things are going to work out for me. I already got all my surgeries. I'm already in the top 4% or top 1% of trans people for having got facial surgery and vaginoplasty. Like, I'm in like the top 1% of the trans people for success. And I'm autistic. Like, I overcame autism executive dysfunction challenges, agoraphobia challenges, traumatic experience, and like sensory, challenges in order to get like an extremely difficult surgery process to happen. Like, if that can be inspiring. It inspires me. And I'm inspiring myself. Because I can always remember, like, hey, this quote unquote broken autistic woman overcame all of her autism related boundaries to get gender affirming treatments. It says a lot about how life-saving these things are, okay? But it also says a lot about how just because society tells you that you're broken, it doesn't actually mean you're broken. And it might be hard and it might be really emotional, but one way or the other, we're gonna make it happen. It might be really challenging, but we're gonna find a way. Anyway, before I completely fall apart, I gotta get back to reading my book. I just wanted to kind of update you guys on my thoughts. And I didn't want to leave my last stream. It was kind of negative where I left it off. Maybe not. I was just kind of being a little bit rude, I think, with how I was talking, and I didn't like how it makes me feel when I talk like that. When I say kind of not rude thing, I guess when I say things that might be offensive to people, I don't want to hurt people. I really want people to get along, but I also, I have a lot of opinions. And so I guess it's like there's got to be a middle ground somewhere. And all this black and white thinking is like, that also is a spectrum issue. Like, there's a lot more nuance, okay? Like, I'm fine. I'm going to do fine. And things are going to work out one way or the other. I just, every now and then I want to pull out the phone and just kind of update my stream and just have someone to talk to for a little bit, just to kind of explore like what I'm thinking about and like process my thoughts. And that helps a lot. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.